Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to yet another installment of Wheelin Wednesday. I'm wearing my Nobody Watches Wheelin Wednesday sweatshirt because in a recent installment I poked fun at those in faraway lands, places like Michigan, where winter has struck and they have like snow on the ground, which is wild. So when I woke up this morning, it was 37 degrees. I think the universe heard me, and they were like, well, for frame of reference, yesterday was 70 degrees. The overnight low was like 53, and then all of a sudden it was like, have some winter. That's okay. SoCal winter comes back next week. We've got like upper 70s, so it'll be nice. Took Jacob here down off the rack. Oh, I'm gonna go blind right here. For the first time in what feels like a while, and did a thing that I don't ordinarily do, which is I pre-flight checked him a little, make sure like things were still hooked up, things were still working. And Jake is one still fitted with a JX 4409 for dig. I had seriously forgotten. The 4409 is purchased out of a pure pursuit of economy and nothing else, because it's so slow. That's the problem. It does the job perfectly. Like there's nothing to complain about. They're so inexpensive, but man, I have gotten really spoiled lately in the servos that I'm choosing for dig operation. Man, that Flash Hobby, that 1227, it's like a lightning bolt compared to the 4409. Get through. I honestly, when I pulled him down off the rack, I was trying to remember what's even in him. Wasn't even until I took the body off that I remember, oh yeah, gold can in Jake. Jake's got the gold can. 4409, 1080 G2. He was the recipient of the anti-foams, which, you know, did passably well in testing. And then when we got to in practice, there was never really any rig where I was like, yeah, this is the hot ticket. So I don't want to go so far as to say that Jake got them by default, but they did. They did better in him than they did. We can get out of this. Than they had done in any previous testing. Deadline and its partner that is the same thing. Enildaed. Not a place, not a lover of Lexan. This is where patina grows. Ooh. I had forgotten. Jake is a heavy boy. And what and what seems, in comparison to recent builds like say Zobazu for instance, he seems really wide. That width is definitely stability in his case. And like his maneuverability is kind of something else, even with that big bumper, which is now out of frame. Jake is a goer and a doer. If I can get that, yeah, there we go. For those who's new, raise your hand if you're new. Jake the Snake is an interpretation of the Artful Dodger's ground fox, a ground foe, if you will. But with a bunch of parts that were leftovers, cast-offs, replacements So he's got a Spare Time Hobbies Capra skid. So his lower links, ooh, dig working it out right here. So his lower links are touching in the middle at the chassis side, which honestly lends to some borderline unusual handling characteristics. Also, as it was built, like the intention when I built him was to put like just Capra under there. But the Capra gearbox is not one of my favorites. So there's a Vader and then an Amazon 3-gear dig box on top of it with a very slow 4409. So his geometry, if you drive him right next to the GFO, which is the vehicle here that is fitted with an actual tried and true proper ground fox, the handling is quite honestly very different because that skid, his link geometry is so different. SSD Diamond Pros, is that what they're called? I don't know what A-Main was thinking on any particular day. I was picking up some parts on an order, and they had all the pieces to put the housings together. So that, you know, the housing kits for like 29 bucks. So it was like 50. I really like these axles, and I have gone back in search of them again. And like sometimes they'll show having a rear housing in stock, and I think the fronts are discontinued. I don't know. I just know that I can't find them. And in terms of my choice for AR-44, for centered pumpkin stuff, these would be my favorites. Use that flex, my boy. Now, how are we going to unload here? As I say, the links touching in the center, what it lends to is the ability to snake. He's got the snake hips. He can really conform to surfaces, but then what happens is you'll get to the swing of the pendulum where a wheel will drop too far or rise too high and you're gone. Like you were there and now you're not there. So he's got that 1960s, there are no driver aids, don't exist sort of a thing. But even with a skid that's a mile long, his breakover is surprisingly good. And that motor, my favorite, well, I can't even, that's inaccurate. That's a semi-accurate phrase. I was going to say my favorite brush motor, but honestly, the 540 Plus, whether it be Surpass Rocket, whether it be NHX Momentum, whether it be the other one that I can't remember, it's kind of the only brushed motor that I like, the 540 Plus, the big blocks. Because the feel, I went through that whole thing of people being like, you gotta try 5-slot. And I was like, I don't like it. He's digging so good right here. And what you need that big block. You need the big rotor. It brings 5-slot to life. And it is a tough recommend for me, as even Ally Express, if you want to get yourself that gold can, 35 bucks, $44 for a 1080. You've got yourself a Fusion. Now, I wouldn't put a Fusion in him. No chance. As he lives at the confluence of my favorite brushed setup and the only brushed setup that I like. I should be looking at this from the other side. Ooh. Ooh. Slowly. Oh, these are bad noises. I can't see. Ah, yes, it is it is much worse from this side. There we go. There we go. Sometimes being able to see it helps a little. Oh, there we go. Yeah. He, Jake is a good boy. We're getting into the construction debris and piles of leaves over here. The building of Mavericks is still in progress right behind me. Ooh. Yeah. Jake is kind of the guy. When it comes to deadline, Jake, I think of the people who have run here, I think Jake has had the most success. That said, I think Jake might be the rig that has run it the most. So, could be a Groundhog Day situation. But like why people talk about why they don't like fusions or outrunners, the feel, right? They feel too on switch, off switch. Jake is a silk bag full of butter. He's the smoothest, and you do it all with your fingers. His throttle response is, wow. I almost went second person there and said every... Oh, I can't believe it. I almost said everything you want it to be. The multitasking fail of the day. It doesn't count. It doesn't count unless you make it. And we're gonna finish it just to say that we did. But I got an inch to. Okay, all right. We don't want to define insanity. So let's see if I have any better chance here. A little more. Yep, a little more. All right, same exact approach that failed me twice. And then what I did is right here, I need to get that bumper over right there. There it is. Like, I'm legitimately talking about 1 inch. There are 2 leaves, one pointing at his tire and one right behind the passenger rear. That leaf is the amount of space. Whether I'm on the left side of the leaf or the right side of the leaf was the difference between falling off twice and finishing this pretty easily. That's complacency, man. That's complacency is death. You start to feel too comfortable, and mental errors, man. Mental errors. So we're going to give birth to a new tradition, maybe. Wheelin Wednesday, the wheels have a strong tendency to pick different guys for Wheelin Wednesday. There are still a couple individuals that have not appeared yet on a Wheelin Wednesday, and there have been some that have happened multiple times. So might as well take that opportunity to kill 2-3 minutes here. Usually probably in that 45-second range. Post edit for Jake to take a run here at Mavericks. I have some more scrap tires to put on the skewers, but haven't done it yet. So we only have 1 time established on the board. Rattlecat, as he sat in that configuration, which bears no resemblance to whatever configuration he might be in now. So Jake is going to take a run at this, and I've learned from last time, don't try to stand in one spot. It's impossible. I also see, right over there on the ground, I see a rake, so let's not step on the rake. So the edit will be the edit. I figured out time codes so we can get a little time on it. We're going to try to build a leaderboard, and it's Mavericks. So Jake is going to have a go. Jacob making it look absolutely effortless. We're gonna give most of that to to the turning circle, the turnability of SSD Diamond Pros compared to Red Cat Gen 9 axles. So Jake and I are gonna take this opportunity to thank you so much for joining us here on a Wednesday. We thank you for letting us share time with you, knowing all the while that no one watches Wheelin' Wednesday except you loyal few. Balancing this thing in the middle is so difficult. Uh-oh. Well, all right. The teeter-totter is very humidity susceptible. Nope. Finding that center of balance, I mean, is different for every rig. Oh, just when you think you've got it. This is genuinely one of the most difficult things to do here. Especially when you're not lined up with the board. About there? No, a little more. Ooh, it hits hard. I don't know. I don't think we're getting it today, Jake. Yeah, we are not. we can just at least he's got the suppleness and the compliance to not get smacked off the totter, but I can't find that balance point. It's so much weight. When we widened it out to make it race course, you can see the multiple layers there. It's that decking material that. What a way to end the day, everybody. Half completed thought. It's that decking material that's like made out of PET, like recycled Coke bottles. And that thing is like 9.5 inches wide. So as a challenge, it was pretty great trying to go over a teeter-totter that's barely at the width of your tires, of the center line of your tires. But when you're trying to do it with any kind of speed involved, it was like next to impossible. So Jake and I would like to take this final moment to thank you so much for joining us on this installment of Wheelin' Wednesday. A great time was had by all. We didn't break anything. Jake could easily have done Enildaed in a one-shot, but you know, the nut behind the wheel sometimes is loose. So we bid you a fond farewell from here in the canyon. We look forward to seeing you again very soon in between now and then. Please, one and all, do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you back here in the canyon. Do all the usual things, and we'll see you soon.